And then it will like be like a recursive feedback thing if we just ask them.
Yeah.
Besides, like we did a test before, so it should be fine. But hey guys, we just started the stream now, so can you guys hear us? Hold on, I actually need to type this out. Can everyone introduce yourselves again? Starting with Zalgus.
Oh, okay. Hello, I am Zalgus.
And hello, I am Erbie, or whatever name taker.
I don't know, what do you want me to say about myself?
How much you are so big brained that you actually I don't know, that was supposed to be a joke, but I ran out of time, so it's not funny anymore. So Kurosuke says he can hear all three of us, so that's awesome. And
Yeah, okay. I'll mute the stream now, so that I don't echo.
okay, so you can hear yourself.
It's a lot of echo.
Yeah, it seems like
Yeah, that's why.
my volume seems fine.
Okay, as long as everyone's proportional volume seems fine. I'm a bit worried about mine, but it's fine.
Tanetomo first.
Okay, so like last time, well, you know, we're still a bit like 5 minutes early, so we're not talking about Tanetomo first. We're saving that for last. Okay, the order will be
Alright.
Cthugha, then Horus, then Leanan Sidhe, then Tanetomo. But
Should have saved Leanan for the last one.
because you wanted to end it off nicely.
Yes. Yes.
Like it was like that in my original notes, but then I was like, oh, like my
Why do you
my
want
tabs
to-
are already open in this way, so might as well just do this. Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason to why I organize it this way. Besides, you know, 5's first, 4's later. I'm not gonna judge you for drinking because I got my own sippy cup too here.
I'm just drinking tea.
I got a water bottle like a degenerate. Who needs leaving your room when you just have a large water bottle? Okay, so what the fuck was I talking about? We can start early, but I feel like I'm missing something. Sound check is good. Sound from the music is good. I actually have no idea. Do you guys think I'm missing anything?
I
Oh wait, I
have
remember.
no idea.
I remember comments about the last stream. Last time I was coin streaming, that kind of just died off. That wasn't because I'm a dumbass. I mean, it might have been because I was a dumbass, but not because I was like intentionally dumbass. It was because apparently YouTube
Because of leak tests.
YouTube detected something that was like I don't know, a potential copyright strike, and then my stream literally just closed on me, and it didn't like notify me. I just like noticed the chat going on, and I was like, hey, am I like being that boring? So I just checked it, and what do you know, it shut down on itself. And also comments about our last analysis. I did realize that I was kind of talking over everyone. Like I will be doing that in terms of just making sure we don't go overtime, because we did kind of go definitely overtime last time. But at the same time,
That was
YouTube.
only because I said, well, I made a joke about doing the new semester or the old semester banners.
Zalgus, you should know you should never joke with me. I take all jokes seriously.
It's fine.
And
It was actually pretty fun to say what everyone already knew about the semester units.
yeah, I know, it was a good way to flex our skills. We were just like, yeah, we know them all. It's like you can trust us. And but yeah, besides keeping on time, I'll try to withhold myself a bit from like talking over you guys this time.
Wait, October 4 actually was, well, it might have been because of Lick's ass.
Oh, the constancy. Hey people, last stream got shut down because you got seriously leaked. Right,
Yeah.
save it for now.
We don't actually know if it was that, but if it were that would be hilarious.
Yeah, it didn't say whether it was the sound or the audio. They just said it could have been either or. And I was like I might have done, like, I was feeling like 50-50 on doing a stream like yesterday for coins, but that sort of drained my mood to do it again, and also I didn't want to risk this stream being shut down too. So I was like, I'm just gonna play it safe, and I'm just gonna do coin streams next week instead. Yeah, so I like didn't get any coins yesterday at all. Anyways, we are about on time. Now it's pretty much. We can start with Cthugha. So there are 4 units. I think just to start it off, I'll and then Zalgus went first last time, so then Erbie can go to describe Horus, then Zalgus can continue with Leanan Sidhe, and then I'll take the unenviable task of starting off Tanetomo. Sounds good?
Sure.
Not good for me.
Okay, so Cthugha, his role is actually more around a gameplay style. He functions, from my interpretation of his kit, as someone who plays by buff refreshment. He's someone who has a lot of innate buffs, but also loses these buffs pretty precariously every single time he's hit. And but he can also regain all of those buffs, especially his 5, which is ridiculous, was 4 different buffs, every single time he receives a buff. And I believe they're also recursive, so gaining one of those buffs could also trigger getting another buff. Is that the case? I never tested that myself.
I don't know.
I've not tested it either. I don't have any on my support.
Well, I'm assuming it's recursive because there's nothing to suggest it wouldn't be. It's always been like that case. And he also has burn functionality, which is it's whatever. The only point of burn, in my opinion, is just for the burn advantage during charge. And he also has a rage thing, which is nice, and he's immune to some things. All right, so that's just my summary of it. Thoughts, Zalgus?
His reoccurring buffs is cool and all. Like his buffs are all rare and powerful: brawn, adamantine, attack up, and defense up. They're basically the rarest attack buffs that also last the longest. But the problem is that it's got an absolute pitiful proc rate of 30%, which is absolutely not something to be relied on. And considering he's slash and blow, which have only one range, he's going to be getting hit a lot probably. So he's going to lose all his buffs, and then he might have a hard time actually getting them back. Because 30%. So, not too hot on him, honestly.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing about the low proc rate, but I feel like that's only really an issue. I mean, it's still an issue either way, but it's he can sort of, just.
I mean,
it's
throw enough buffs.
Yeah, it's a more controllable issue than other issues. You have to wait entire turns for other cases, but in this case, the only limiting factor is the number of buffs he's throwing, and you can put in a shitload of buffs in a single turn if you put up the right setup.
Ideally, you'd also use him with other buffers, so those after buff low proc rates will happen plenty of times for each buff. So that's also something to consider, that the proc rate can be a little bit deceiving, and it's very easy to control with other buffers, as I said before. One thing I am a bit I find it quite interesting is the burn advantage on the CS. It actually has a ×3 multiplier over burn, so that's going to make it deal a lot of damage for an all ranged attack, and couple that with 2 attack buffs, or maybe even 3 if we count the rage plus he gains after getting debuffed. That's gonna be really powerful.
Yeah, quite so.
Speaking of the rage, actually, the 3-star version sucks. Compared to the 5-star version.
I don't know why they have to make 3 so abysmally bad when the 5s are good. It's there's plenty of good cases where 3s actually can keep, Leanan Sidhe, but we'll talk about later. But his 3 is just, what is this?
he has less. He doesn't have attack up and defense up, so that's immediately worse because he's going to lose those faster, and they're just worse because he has less buffs.
And that's
rage.
Even if he did have all those buffs, he's still just blow range too. It's you can't really use it that effectively. Come on.
And CS range is magic, and it's not even all anymore.
And the multiplier's half. Actually, it's a quarter because of the base multiplier as well.
So 2 times. Obviously, that's just the difference between rarities. So it's.
And instead of rage plus, it's rage, so it's gonna get.
So
yeah.
Oh yeah. Also, his when leaving thing is whatever, I guess.
I don't think it's that bad.
It's not that bad.
Okay.
You'll get the initiative, but because Cthugha has to die, so it'll be your turn next. But it's whatever.
Yeah.
Well, imagine strategizing around a unit leaving.
Yeah.
I think my main issue is that if you actually just objectively look at the numbers, it's what, omen damage at even at max level, it's Omen status level 1. It's not that much, to be honest. And we already can regularly deal like 10,000k, and then you're sacrificing a 5-star for that paltry amount of damage. It's not something to toot about. Okay, Erbie, can you read up the comments?
Let's see what we have on the comments. Okay, Master Zalgus, Wielder of the Keyblade. The thing is that his 5-star burns enemies reliably. Well,
That's
yes.
Not reliably.
I mean, he's the most reliable burner we have at this point, and also at a wide range. But at the same time, like we mentioned, it's like the only reason why you would want to burn people is not because of the burn, but because of units with advantage against burn, and it's it's
Like
not.
that. After a few more desperate pulls, I only have his 3-star.
I think Leanan Sidhe is actually
Who?
more reliable burner. Valentine's Sidhe.
Oh, I don't remember him, but I think he applies burn at a
Yeah.
pretty reliable rate too.
And he's snipe range, so he's probably better. But yeah.
Maybe, but it's like snipe range. This is like some weird, box range, except when he misses or something.
It's 60% rate when attacking for Sidhe.
Yeah, so that would mean it's better for Cthugha, which is at 80%,
There's
and also applies to adjacent units.
Yeah.
yeah.
We
Tori
have-
Asuma says about Cthugha, he's really well built for character design, but another 5-star fire unit. Oof.
Oh, let me check that out actually. Yeah, there are.
There are a lot of 5-star fire units. That's pretty true.
5-star nether units don't exist.
No, there are 13. 13 5-star fire units.
Yeah, they're
Great.
like
You
it
really
pair
need
well with Zab. A little bit. Zab doesn't gain a lot of central damage, but according to a couple of information we got recently, he's probably gonna get a skill level, so that's gonna be something to try out.
Oh yeah, and about Kingdom's comment about Shenong, I actually had this in my notes, which I was gonna do for my proper analysis, but since you already touched on it, mine was mentioned. I would actually recommend we can talk about recommended units bring with Cthugha from this point on, and as well as general strategies and whatever. So basically, not just specifically about Cthugha, but like the gameplay around him. For Shenong, I actually believe he's one of the better units. Well, maybe not better units, but theoretically a cool unit to bring with Cthugha, because he can both debuff and buff Cthugha. He can buff him every turn with poison reversal, as well as give him the poison he needs for that rage plus. And I feel that there's some decent synergy just between two units like that. And
It's probably the best synergy, to be honest. But
Yeah.
if you want the rage plus.
yeah, of course. I mean, it's you still gotta move Shenong. That's the issue.
Oh,
Yeah, but if you're using Shenong, you're just gonna
you're going to be moving him
kinda
anyway.
just yeah. You have to move him every turn anyways, and Cthugha doesn't need to move at all, so it's fine.
Yeah, which is a bit silly that he has like two different immunities from like movement debuffs. It's like he doesn't even really need that since he's not gonna be moving anyways.
I guess LifeWonders was just tired of people complaining about the 5-star units aren't as impressive as last year, so they were just like, let's put in random stuff.
Call back to evasion when messing from Heracles.
Yes.
Any other thoughts of any other units or specific maps or specific gimmicks?
I mean, he pretty much wants anyone who can spit out a ton of buffs. Since his own buffs are already really rare, he doesn't have to worry about overlap at all because most units give, Ardor and Vigor.
Yeah, his four
And he
main
doesn't
buffs are.
have any of that, so.
I would-
I guess like Christmas Claude would work, and he gives Glint as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
He gives a bunch of buffs. I would also recommend specifically units that can give 1-turn buffs pretty much every turn. Like Kotaro, obviously, Beachside Kotaro can give both evasion and tenacity. There's also
yeah, but that could get removed, which is a problem. Actually, what order does it go when it removes buff? Does it go the first or the last one applied?
I actually think it's random,
I
to be
think
honest.
Yeah, I think it's right.
Like I did some tests before, and there's like with weapon change and all that, and it's like it's what it is for sure is it's based on what's listed in the status screen, but it doesn't actually. The order in the status screen is really dependent on which you put first, so I'm not really sure about that, to be honest. It requires more research. And also Furufumi, just by sitting around, he gives arousal every turn, and anyone that can give limit every turn as well. So maybe even Horus technically. Yeah, those are my thoughts. So any lingering thoughts you want to mention for this guy before I move on?
Well, Leanan, but we'll get to that.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Forget to.
I guess Valentine's Gumal would work too, because he gives limit.
Gives limits, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Hi everyone, I was thinking in using Cthugha if I pull him with Shenong, with Christmas Clad, or Val and Gimo. Wow, touching on pretty much every single base there, aren't you? But my problem with Cthugha is his weapon type. Yeah, well...
You would ideally want someone to pull like Dagon, but he would need to be... He might want to be moved, because he pulls passively too, so you don't necessarily have to move him. But...
Yeah, Dagon would be
Dagon,
like...
You could get that problem solved very quick.
You can get that sweet double pull.
Yeah, it'd be a weird combo. But it works. I guess having 2 slash units in the front, because like putting, Dagon in the back would be kind of a waste, since he deals lots of damage too. Yeah. Apparently his charge can go... Oh yeah, there's one last thing I forgot to mention. There's this cool video that I saw, that me and Erbie saw. I'm not sure if Zalgus saw it, but...
I don't think so.
It was in the help channel, and basically, because he has 4 buffs in the beginning, like, I know he said he's a buff refreshment thing. I actually completely forgot to touch on the fact that it's not, even if he fails to activate his buffs, he still has 2 important things. He can heal himself on buff, and he can charge himself on buff. I mean, I guess the heal isn't too important, but the charge...
I see it now.
Yeah, the charge part is kind of ridiculous, because he starts off with 4 buffs, he can build up his charge, his CP 4 times, up to 64 CP when appearing, and that just primes him up for, a bit of extra help from... other units to get him up to have what's completely possible as a turn 1 charge.
Like Leanan Sidhe, but we'll talk about that later, I guess.
I just realized he would since he's fire type, he would work really well with Arcs AR for Prayer.
Yeah, for sure. Because it is a buff, so he would also get CP from that.
It's a buff, and it gives him the proc rate he really wants.
And and pretty much any sort of anyone who gives on phase start or when appearing either flat CP or buffs, this applies to units as well as ARs, he would benefit from, and it's basically a lot easier for you to get a turn 1 charge from Cthugha than it is from like Kotaro, where you need like fucking Shiro 5 or something. But yeah.
Well, do you know if AR skills apply before or after proc rates are calculated? As in, if he has Arcs AR, will he get Prayer before everything else?
It should be before.
Okay, so the on buff thing will benefit from it then?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, perfect then. So yeah, he'd be great for it.
Right, for sure. Any remaining comments on this? I know you saw the video too. Do you have any, like, all you said was nice? I was just like, come on, Reb, you can say more.
It was pretty nice to see people one turn clear the new seed quest in Nerma Award with Cthugha.
Followed by Kotaro.
It's quite impressive. It is, and yes, followed by Kotaro. But it was quite impressive to see the map, both maps being wiped out so quickly. Its damage is very impressive, but I have a feeling that it will fall off the more time the battle goes on, and that can be a problem. That's just what I think, because I can't actually test him because no one has him on support, but I think that's pretty much what's gonna happen. He's gonna be really powerful at the beginning, but as you try different challenges and stuff like that with a lot of phases, he ends up losing a lot of his utility, I feel.
Yeah, that's just, the theory of it anyways, is he might not be that amazing for dungeons, but for other things where it's like, it's like 2 or 3 phases only, He has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Dungeons also have a ton of enemies, so he's gonna
Lose them all.
chances to lose his buffs.
Yeah, for sure.
Just thought, if he blows up on a giant boss, does that mean he takes off 90k HP?
You mean for like every sphere? Yeah, that was tested before.
Yeah.
Right? Remember? You did that literally with Corpica, right?
Yeah, well, it's not quite the same thing, but it should pretty much work the same. So
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just use Corpica and to be honest at that point.
yeah.
Like, yeah, imagine just doing like a one-time 5-star unit loss. All right, let's read the comments before we move on. I think we talked enough about Cthugha.
Why don't you just ask for Guidus' friend code?
Galgus was. Are you reading the comments right now?
I
Yeah, that's right. He has it.
Yeah.
I have no friend slots, but I think I can make room, I guess.
Yeah, he's looking
I
for
would like
friends.
to test a lot of his units.
I actually only added him because someone was like, "Oh, use Aris Katara." I was like, "Ugh, fine."
He could work well in the. Yeah, I could see him working well in Ikebukuro dungeon because they're always front row, pretty much. So he'll just clear them out before they can even hit him. So
True.
yeah, he probably will work well in that actually. Because
Just
as long as you take out the slash and wide slash units first, pretty much only one enemy can hit him at a time.
That's like a lot of. It's like most of them now.
Well, there are a lot of sub-blow units too.
also needs to be careful with the slimes that inflict paralysis that will deplete his attack.
That's so annoying.
Yeah, sir. All right, so just read the rest of the comments and then we'll move on.
There'll be which using the Valentine's Mori Tada AR card would count as a buff for Cthugha. It would give him guts, so yes, it should count as a buff. So I don't know if I would call that an OP combo, but it would certainly work if you put the Valentine's Murataka and Tanetomo AR on him, because he would get guts, and that would trigger his CP, and also guts is always useful. Yeah, AR's which first.
No devil's fear.
Oh yeah, he's also immune to fear and oppression, which is always nice.
Yeah, I thought he'd be good for the Yoke dungeon.
Who runs that though?
I mean, I mean, I do. It has better diversity for attributes, and I don't really like grinding the free quests for stuff like that. I'd rather just
better music.
Just challenge quests.
better music. That's the only reason why you would prefer to play it. The only reason you need it.
Just grind the challenge quests.
Bruh.
We had a bunch of challenge quests that you could one shot.
Yeah, but why would you do that when you can grind coin quests? Alright, well, fear doesn't matter since he's immune to it. Yeah, alright. So we are done talking about Cthugha for now, but we might briefly mention him if we recursively talk about him. I don't know yet. So let's move on to Horus, which someone here apparently had a negative opinion of him, or at least not an impressed one. So we will start off with Erbie first, I believe. I think Zalgus has a negative opinion, but I said Erbie would go first. So Erbie, you go first this time.
All right.
And also, if you guys want if you guys want me
Go on.
if you guys want me to switch the screen between 3-star and 5-star, or how to, just let me know.
All right. First of all, I do not share the same opinion that it's not a very good unit. I think he's actually a pretty decent unit that can synergize with a lot of different units. He seems to be a tanky support that can provide guts to the entire party every 2 turns, which is something quite rare to do at such a high percentage. 90%. That's really good. He has a phase start protection to help him get going on the first turn, which can help trigger all his on being hit effects. He pretty much has the same ability as Fashionista Zavania, where when he gets hit, he applies stigma to the enemies, except he does it at a lower rate than Fashionista Zavania. But he also reduces their HP by a fixed amount, and that amount does not seem very impressive, but it can actually accumulate a lot. I feel, especially since he has access to tenacity through an improved beast meme. I think it can work out pretty well. Furthermore, he can also apply limits but only to targets on his sides, not up and down.
So like wide slash range, except the same row he
Yes.
occupies. Yeah.
Exactly, wide slash range, limit, and nullify debuff to self. He's pretty much a most let. You'll always want to keep moving him to provide that limit and get that tenacity to survive. And the one of his most important, one of the features that impressed me the most was his ability to remove debuffs to all allies in 2 squares horizontally. It has a really low percentage, but I mean, it is higher than Cthugha's after buff, and it can come in clutch a lot since debuffs can be very annoying in a lot of cases. Him being immune to nullify buff is something to help with that, to help him keep himself buffed and trigger all his removal of debuffs on the whole party.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all I have to say about him. He's pretty much going to be a unit you want to keep at the front line, and you'll want him to get hits to make the fight a lot easier. You'll probably want to pair him up with potentially a healer of sorts, because he can't sustain himself.
Looser, no. Okay, sorry. Sorry, just Looser said something stupid. Alright, go on, sorry.
Basically, he can't sustain himself. He's got that tenacity, but that's pretty much all he has to defend himself. He doesn't have anything else outside guts, that is, to keep himself in battle. So that's something to keep in mind.
Okay. I agree with you with a lot of those aspects, but mostly about like the only issue I have is what you emphasized versus other things. But instead of me taking it, I'll let Zalgus say his thoughts first.
Okay, so I don't think Horus is really that impressive, so I'll just quickly go over why his freestyle sucks. But basically, even though his kit's designed around taking hits and giving out buffs and debuffs and all that after getting hit, kind of like Kanan Kijimuna, but his 3-star doesn't provide tenacity on move, so after the first turn he has no defenses, which is... Oh, he also doesn't give himself guts, so...
Yeah.
So he's... despite Weld element, which is, pretty good for tanking, he's going to fold really quickly, so I don't really think 3-star's worth using, but... So, 5-star, I think... So... what I think is good is his guts is great. Every 2 turns giving such high rate guts, and you want to be moving him for his tenacity.
Guaranteed if you see them.
Yeah.
God fucking damn, guaranteed guts. That's insane.
Yeah.
Bloody skill seed bait.
This is the case where it's worth it. Come on.
But yeah, so the main reason I don't think he's that great is because he makes himself tanky, which is cool. Well, tanky quotes, because only 1 defensive buff after turn 1. But the main problem is that he doesn't really make his team tanky. He heals them and gets rid of their debuffs, but he doesn't give them any defensive buffs, and the heal isn't that big. It's only 400, and it's kind of a low rate at 50. So I'm not really a fan of tanks who don't
heal.
Yeah, who don't mitigate a lot of damage. Like he mitigates damage for himself by tenacity, protection for turn 1, and Weld element, but he doesn't really help mitigate the damage that will come to his allies. And, based on the way aggro works, that is, they target the one who has dealt the most damage, and his damage is useless. I don't really think it'd be that great at tanking. I think Stigma application is great because it's kind of a rare buff and, increased damage dealt. I think the limit range is a bit weird.
It is, but it complements his other parts of his kit anyways.
It's wide slash, but his most useful, his most defensive skill, the guts, doesn't apply in that range. It doesn't reach the person 2 squares over. So that's kind of
yeah, it's like that, Christmas Talk Tomorrow all over again, where it's like he can reach that weird range shit. It's like, why would you ever position your units in that way,
So I think he's okay. I know I said he's shit, but I think he's okay, but I don't think he's worth using a 5-star slot up. Is my main issue.
I kind of don't agree fully. I think he can work well, in theory, with a couple of units, but I need to test that out before reaching a definitive conclusion. That it.
Okay.
His reps are pretty bad, but that's mostly my issue with.
Okay. Shut up, loser. Pug lettuce.
At least the guts works really well with limit. That's big synergy right there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm not too upset personally about him not defending his team super well outside of guts, because that actually just complements limit even more, in my opinion. So that they take more damage, but at the same time they won't die. So he's kind of like the king of, exploding guts / limit combo, besides maybe a Leanan Sidhe, which we'll get to later. But okay, so my thoughts. I agree with a lot of you, but I feel like the emphasis on things is completely different. I actually am not very, I saw the stigma thing, and I was just like, I didn't really care about that. It's like, he has to get hit for that, it's like, whatever, he can protect himself, but it's like, it only lasts for 2 turns, and it's just like, 1 buff, and the damage is also nice. It's kind of funny, because I read it, and Stigma and Limit were like, people usually focus on the damage buffs to see, like, the utility of a unit, but I feel like that was actually his least impressive, or at least the least specific feature for me that made me think why I would want to use this unit. Because if you want damage buffs, then you've got plenty of other choices that are better at this point, right? Besides just 2 ones that are like 1 on damage that's not even guaranteed, and another one that's at a weird range. Like, you have better choices at that point, right? I would still use Horus for 2 things. Let me just talk about the one thing that you emphasized that I feel like he emphasized well enough, but I'm in love with it completely. The guts aspect. It's so ridiculously exploitable, like applying basically guaranteed guts every 2 turns. Like in the fucking in the Thor dungeon, it's almost impossible to lose with that sort of setup at that point, because you could always just alternate between Horus at front and the person and the people who he's giving guts to in the front, and you can always just switch it, and they'll never be able to reach the person in the back, and so you can just forever have like guts up in like a very exploitable sense, along with limit, and I just see a lot of cheesable potential there. And then the one thing that Erbie touched on that he was impressed with, but I feel like he didn't emphasize enough, was the remove debuff aspect, which was, like we mentioned, was not at the most impressive rate, at 40% only. However, this is an after buff ability, which is like, it's kind of ridiculous if you actually start counting the buffs, how much Horus gives himself. Horus gives himself 5 different buffs. He gives himself protection, and tenacity, and guts, and limit, and nullify debuff. So he has 5 chances to actually bestow remove debuff to his allies, and 4 of those are still refreshable outside of phase start. Everything except for protection. And I feel that means Horus's role is 1, a guts upkeeper, and 2, a debuff manager, a very reliable one at that, even though it says 40%. That's misleading, because he has a lot of buffs that he can reliably refresh himself at like 4 different times consistently, and 5 different times every single time a phase starts. So those are my thoughts of why I would personally want to use Horus, because not because of his like damage things, which any other 5-star could do a lot better, but specifically because of his Guts memeing, and as well as his remove debuff potential. I believe he might be the best unit in terms of remove debuff potential. Ignoring units that happen to have remove all debuffs, but that's a different thing.
Shame it is in that weird Y/ range as well, though. I think I'd prefer if it was 1 square away, but oh well.
Yeah, the range choice is a bit weird. Okay, let's read the comments before we talk more about this.
Talking about lettuce in the comments.
Oh.
Lettuce. I only see lettuce comments.
Oh my fucking god. Why lettuce? Does someone want to take the explanation for this?
No,
No.
I don't know if that's appropriate for this stream.
I mean, it's facts, right? It's just educational. We're not. I'll just do it. It's my stream. I don't care. So.
Okay, do you want me to say it, or do you want to?
I've only heard it through third person, so I probably would I might not accurately convey it. So you can do it if you want.
So I forget who was it? It was Horus and Set, right? Yes, it was Horus and Set, I believe. So basically, they were having some fight to try and one up each other, and there was a lot of sexual tension and all that.
Was there actually?
Well, kind of. I think there was trying to prove yourself greater than the other male. So, that's one way. Sexual domination and all that. But anyway, Set's tricked. Was it? No. I think Horus tricked Osiris. No. Fucking Egyptian name. Horus tricked Set into eating some lettuce that had Horus's sperm on it, and then he ate it, and
then
it was all,
I guess that's how he proved his male dominance.
yes, I guess. So lettuce became associated with what was it? I forget exactly, but it's all very funny. And then they wrote in Horus's bio that he likes trying to feed people lettuce.
What the fuck did he say that?
It's also in his love line too.
Oh my
if you haven't noticed. He wants to give you lettuce.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god, that's so
concept.
fucked up. I do not read the translations as much as I should. But
that's why there's this funny picture of Horus.
yeah, I saw that. I saw his wholesome, and it was like Seth was acting weird, and it was just like the protagonist eating Horus as Horus looks at him lovingly. I was like, oh, this is wholesome.
Yeah, and in the background screaming.
Oh god, that's so fucking stupid. I love LifeWonders.
I mean, it's technically accurate.
It's accurate. We're not spreading misinformation. We're not being unnecessarily horny. We're being educationally horny. It's good. It's good talk.
Would you mind having the lettuce? Is the best message he could give you.
Ironically, just before the stream, I just had a bowl of lettuce. I wasn't even thinking about that, but now I feel weird. Anyway, let's
here it is. As a secret health nut, there is a part of him that wants to feed those he loves dearly his favorite dish of fresh lettuce.
What a fucking LifeWonders being sniped there.
It sounds innocent enough there, but if you know the backstory, then it takes a funny connotation.
Wow, LifeWonders is kind of just no words. I might need to mentally process this. I'm not saying right now. All right, let's. I'll finish the rest of the comments and then we can go on to the next unit. Lettuce. I think Horus can homosexually reproduce like that one wolf archer and boar that's part of the summer's culture. Very neat. Male pregnancy.
He's a god, so he can do whatever he likes, probably.
Including
not Zeus.
spreading his seed all over your salad. I hope Horus wasn't around your lettuce. I mean, I was kind of hoping the opposite, but anyways. Hey there, LifeWonders does your mythology research, Tante salad, and Horus lettuce. Alright.
Talk about his CS.
Who cares about the CS?
Who cares about CS?
Those abilities are like, it's possession and countdown. You think it's good. At least people thought it was good like maybe a year and a half ago. But then it's like, you realize after actual practice, possession never actually hits anyone. And countdown is like, you can do as much damage as countdown through normal hits at this point. So neither of those are particularly notable in my opinion.
I guess
CS.
possession is good for 1 turn disabling, and that's about it. And it has okay range because it's
Yeah, it affects collaterals as well.
it's a column, so so it's okay, but it's nothing really.
Yeah, like just if you think possession or countdown are good, get that out of your mind. They're overrated debuff status.
CS is the least impressive thing of his kits.
Shino's crying right now.
Shino's is good because at least he has advantage over countdown. All
Yeah,
right.
he gets crit
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah, and it's more reliable. And does the horse even have a? Oh yeah, I guess he does. He does.
Start moving 60 CP.
I completely forgot that was his thing. It's because his charge itself is not remarkable. Moving.
Also at low percentage, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't. All right, moving
I
on.
guess he'll charge it at an okay speed, but yeah, this CS and something to be.
It's this thing down. I guess can stall if you don't have guts up on your off turn for a reason. You want them to point the other way. Anyway, shut up, please. Countdown with 30k damage. Man. Let's go on to the next unit. Everyone's favorite unit.
The best unit.
Actually might be a contender for one of the best units, which ironically would fail miserably in the tier list. Someone's tier list, anyways. But okay, Leanan Sidhe. Let's Zalgus, would you please start this off?
Okay, so Leanan is. Oh, I'm going to do a spoiler, and she's basically the best. She's easily the best unit on this banner. She's an absurd buff bot. So I'll talk about the 3-star first. So even at her 3-star, she still gives 2 attack buffs, which as resident 3-star man, there's almost no units who actually do that, and she can do that pretty reliably too. And unlike say Nobuharu 3-star, who can only do it, can only refresh 1, she can refresh both her vigor and limit constantly. But anyway, so Leanan's supposed to power up 1 unit, the one in front of her, by moving, and so she's very much a move slot unit, but she gives so many buffs, it's really worth it, and all her rates are actually really. It's almost absurd how high all her rates are. Like even at her 3-star, her lowest one is 70%, which not the greatest, but it's also still pretty high for a 3-star, especially.
She's very promising in terms of seeding, because it's like at least for her 4, all her damage buffs are at 90%. So it's like it's literally guaranteed a triple buff if she's fully seeded. That's a bit ridiculous.
So her 4-star is, so her 3-star's pretty good, but she's top tier 3-star, but her 4-star is completely absurd. So she's the 2nd unit to have permanent omnidirectional movement. So
first one being Ghost or Slayer.
Yeah, the first one's Ghost.
Ghosts are dead.
Quite literally.
The other 2 units who can do things with it are Tangrisnir, who gains it on CS, but he's not really that great, and Summer Kotaro, who can do it to himself on appearance and to allies when he leaves, but he shouldn't be leaving anyway.
Imagine forgetting about Christmas Takamaru's existence.
Oh, yeah, I actually completely forgot that.
He's such a great unit that people just forget about him.
Yeah, he just occupies so much space in your brain that he just leaves it completely.
So yeah, 4-star Leanan. So she's a move slayer. She wants to move absolutely every turn. So her omnidirectional movement is always having it is pretty crazy. She's going to be phenomenal for positioning, and she gives 3 attack buffs, all reliably. One of which is limit, which is really rare. All at 90% or higher, which is crazy because if she gets a skill like 10 skill seeds or a glint or concentration from someone, that's 100% rate, or echo, I guess, if you want to pair her.
Just think about it, people. Like there's not even any units that can bestow crit at 100% rate reliably, and then this person can give something more than that. Yeah, possibly 100%. That was like 3 buffs, which by the way is a lot more than what crit can do by itself. Oh god, it's just
yeah, it is. And besides her 3 attack buffs, she can give glint as well. She gives a bit of CP regeneration to the person in front of her, and she charges her own CS pretty fast, which is also a 90% rate for 34 CP per turn. So within 3 turns, at the minimum, she'll have her CS, which bestows crit and guts on the person in front of her. And I actually counted the where is it? So the multiplier when someone has all 4 of her buffs, so including crit, and they're at 100% HP, so not taking advantage of the limit, it's like a 46 multiplier.
46 multiplier.
Yeah, if you add all of it, if you times all of them together, so
that's like halfway through completely penetrating evasion.
yeah, so she's completely ridiculous. Like it's really, I can't even believe they made this.
It's so busted.
Is it like people in Japan are just like yelling, "Oh no, Yun units are so useless," and then they just keep on making Nun units even more broken and broken every single time.
I actually don't get it. With the exception of Heracles, I don't know what they're trying to do with these Nun units.
But so she just provides so much damage that one downside, I guess, is that she doesn't really provide any defensive buffs. She's all power, but that depending on who you pair her with, that won't matter because you just kill them all anyway.
That's one thing about her, that you can pair her with pretty much anybody, and they're just gonna deal a shit ton of damage regardless of what they are. Something pretty neat to consider.
Yeah, ideally she would be paired with someone who would be guaranteed to be lethal, with her damage buffs, of course, because the one downside about her I did notice is that she doesn't have any defensive capabilities. Like, of course she reduces HP as well, but as a unit you're gonna be constantly moving. The unit in front as well as herself are vulnerable to lethal damage, and if you don't eliminate them first, then you're at risk there.
That can be pretty much countered by using a unit that does not require to move, that can provide defensive buffs.
Just say Cherbug, and we're all thinking about Cherbug. But yeah,
and he's immobile, so he wants a.
Yeah, it would complement her usually well. Yeah, so by herself and her paired unit, they're not gonna. They have that risk of dying, but it's easy to counteract. I'm just saying it's her blind spot, but it's really easy to patch up that blind spot, to be honest.
Yeah, it's really.
There are a lot of units. There's also a lot of units that can complement it fairly easily, so that's not a downside.
Yeah, you can either just go for absolute offense, or you can balance it out a bit with whoever her partner is having a bit of defense, maybe for them and Leanan. But she'll pretty much pair with anyone who has decent range to just blow everything up.
Yeah,
she's
just
entirely busted. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say.
I want to talk more. I want to talk more about her, but we kind of left the chat hanging for a while. So Erbie, can you read the chat?
Scroll up.
Let's see. I hate how only her 5-star has omni movement. Well, that's true. The 3-star only has vertical movement.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that completely. Oh man, I need to change my notes for that.
It's a bit disappointing, but yeah, it's there.
I mean, her 4-star is so broken.
Her 4-star should be a 5-star, to be honest.
Yeah, she is. She should easily. That kit is easily worth a 5-star slot.
Yeah. Wow, 2 move slots in one banner. Look out!
Alright.
Look out! the simps might find your stream and try to
just switch stuff up to Leah.
Okay, sure. Let's see what else. No one has Leanan on support. Oh, you just gotta have the right people, Arch.
Edgar has her on support.
Yeah, and
but
too.
Yeah, but I didn't use any of them at all whatsoever because I was too busy doing Quang grinding.
Kingdom says Christine plus Leanan for one shot map on the first turn.
Oh yeah, Christine.
Yeah.
She exists.
She exists, definitely.
I mean, as we saw early in the video, the only reason that Cthugha was able to blow up that map was also because the proper setup was there for him to do the first turn charge. But in addition to that, it wasn't quite lethal enough until Leanan just did her thing and said.
Oh yeah, Leanan is the perfect partner for Cthugha also. because she gives so many buffs that she'll just probably activate Cthugha's own buffs, and there's also no overlap because Cthugha does not have Glint, Ardor, Vigor, Arousal, or Limit. So that's 5 chances to trigger his own buffs and refresh everything. So yeah.
Let's see. Because she takes 300 HP from allies every time she moves, you probably want a unit that can bestow Blessing or Regen or whatever.
Not really. I mean,
it's just 300 HP.
be risky, man. Go for the limit. Go for the extra damage.
Yeah, let's do that.
Like, it's fine to be risky, you know, especially with like Zhao and fucking Horus existing, and now even herself just on charge. There's like plenty of ways to survive with low health and guts reliably.
Let's see.
And you know, if you're in
Edgar's-
danger, Omni movement to leave.
I stopped hearing you.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, sorry. I think my mic cut out. Yeah, if Leanan or her partner are in danger, since she has Omni movement, they can just leave right away.
Yeah, that's another thing, another defensive aspect of her that, you know, you might miss out. The fact that, you know, positioning itself is especially with extended movement, is a defensive way of play. You just like yeet yourself out of there to the corner of the map. Yeah.
The only downside is no defensive buffs. However, all enemies will possibly be dead before they can do anything. That's true.
Yeah.
Guts says hi. Yeah. Gotta watch out for that one in case.
Yeah. Also, all her buffs are on move, which means that she's perfect for support and don't even need her in the leader spot or whatever. I'm guessing Arch is talking about Barghests.
Probably.
Probably.
Who else?
Also means that you don't have to pull for her yourself.
Yeah, true. Her crit on CS means it could be very useful to have her early on. Yeah, that's true. It's an extra multiplier. Leanan is meant to nuke enemies. She makes money grinding a lot quicker. Well, I don't know.
Nah.
She charges people CS very fast.
If you're charging on coin grinds, then you're doing it wrong. That's my opinion.
Yeah, the charge animation takes too long, so it can also be a downside. Alright, but at least most of her stuff is not like that. So, I guess it's still talking about Barghests. Christine plus Leanan.
Archie, shut up about Marcus. Get up, Marcus. Dick.
Christine plus Leanan for one shot again.
Didn't we already read
I
that?
feel like I'm. Yeah, I already. read it.
You went like down super much and then you went back up. I don't understand why you did that. But yeah,
I actually
posted it twice.
oh, he did. Weird.
They
YouTube.
posted it twice.
Okay.
Guys, I cleared the whole map again. Parks champ. Just say.
You deleted the dupe.
I was gonna say him, but Arakok blocked me with the Chernobyl, so I just shut up.
It's fine.
because he is better, I guess. In that regard, her CS isn't too bad. I mentioned that it's a waste of time, but it does have good use, giving the unit in front of her guts. We weren't talking about the
General
CS being bad. We were just talking about in coin farming. You generally want to get it done as fast as possible.
And charges are not fast.
Yeah.
I was so excited about her, but then I remembered, oh no, she has like guaranteed to charge every 3 turns. Like, why?
Yeah. And she
Yeah,
gives
that's what he tried to say.
she gives a lot of CP per turn because Ardor and Arousal and a bit 12
Yeah.
CP to her target.
So it's not that her CS is bad. It's just that
It's not
It's bad
suitable
for coin
right?
farming.
Yeah.
yeah, it's not for coin farming. I'm not talking about Barghest all the time. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, sure.
I've had her help out Shiro, give enough damage buffs to one-shot enemies alongside Dagon and Summer and Bari. Yeah, that seems alright.
Yeah,
I
pretty
use
much
it.
turns anyone into a nuke.
Yeah,
I just feel like, you know, we're reaching the point where one-shotting isn't even impressive anymore. I feel like, you know, if you want to optimize in this game, it's not even give them as much buffs, because we've already reached the cap with fucking Christmas at Aegir. The only thing that I feel like it would be a better use of time for optimization is actually just the giving the exact amount of damage you need rather than going overboard, and then saving the rest of the potential for other facets like defensive or whatever.
There's still the seed quests, Tezcatli Poker, which still is impressive to one shots because of his ridiculous HP pool and without debuffs. So
well, I'm not sure if that's super grindable because that's what's called. It was a good, like he just happened to get all his charge procs there. He doesn't necessarily like. I think it's on 80% for Cthugha for on buff to receive his CP. So he might have like not had his turn 1 charge there, but it's a chance that might be worth it.
Enough talk, pretty boy time. Talk about the pretty puppy. Okay.
Good plan.
Luther wants to pass.
So we're all done with Leanan?
Yeah, she's busted.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about darkness, but like literally that's supplementary. Like who cares?
Who cares about darkness? It's there.
Yeah, I don't know why she maybe lore reasons, but she's easily the best unit on banner.
Yeah, for sure. And now for easily the worst. I'm not gonna say it. All right, Tanetomo. Yeah, that's right. I said I would start with him. Okay. So just to clarify, he's not trans. He's a cross-dresser. There's a difference. There are people that cross-dress that still identify as their what should we call it? Gender, like assigned, born assigned gender or something. I'm not too good at this stuff, but basically know the difference. Anyways, this is not the kind of place for this kind of talk though. We are talking about their kits. So Tanetomo, he is kind of like a general support unit, based on Luther's report to me, because I didn't want to shit on Tanetomo too much unfairly without actually trying him out myself. I still didn't try him, but at least I got someone who liked him and therefore. So the extra what bells and whistles in his kit, they're nice, but they're ultimately secondary to his main function, which is just being like a basic support in terms of supplying vigor, and then his 4 also tenacity every single time he moves to the units in front of him in slash range, the allies anyways. And I believe that's his main function. He acts kind of like a Cthugha in that sense. Christmas Cthugha. Cthugha sort of functions the same way, right? Buffing the units in front of him.
Yeah, he provides protection instead of tenacity and vigor, but it's only on phase start, I think.
Yeah, so in this case, Tanetomo is like that, except on demand.
Except he needs to move.
Yeah, it's a costly move, so it's a trade-off between phase start only versus he got to move. But it's pretty reliable in that sense. I would say that's his like main feature of why you want to use him, because the others are more conditional. Like he's also like a one-struck Punisher. He inflicts 2 pretty impressive debuffs, Bind and Charm, when he's hit. The real downside of that is that he has no defensive capabilities to really tank those things, which is baffling, which is why I don't see this as a main feature of him. It's more of a side thing. That just happens to complement Taunt, but he would benefit from like a unit in front of him that can provide him defensive buffs without moving,
Yeah, like Yasuyori.
Yasuyori, yeah, of course.
Would be really good for him.
Maybe that's supposed to be the synergy.
Yes, I think that's exactly supposed to be the synergy that they're supposed to be there.
Yeah,
because he already has adamantine, and Tanetomo can provide him tenacity to tank him even further and give him an attack buff, and he can provide evasion to Tanetomo, so they can complement each other a bit, I guess.
They could have picked a better unit for Tanetomo to synergize with. Yasuyori is not that amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he plays well with Shenong, or at least Barrison makes him look like he plays well with Shenong. But people say he hits hard. I've never seen I guess he hits kind of hard. But Yasuyori apparently, at least with Shenong. Yeah, from the videos I've seen of him, but I feel like that's just the hype of the time. It's kind of situational in the sword dungeon. But yeah, so that I would say that's more of a secondary function, the whole getting hit thing along with taunt. He also functions as a reviver. He's in the perfect position to revive units, that being behind the other 3 in the classic T position. T formation, that is, with 3 allies in front and him in the back. So he can yeah, T-pose on them haters. And lastly, another secondary function, which is actually really unique to him, but at the same time, because of the rest of his kit, I can't say it's any more than secondary. It's his ability to be a last hitter. and that is he's there to secure the kill from which one? Death's some bless you, or bless your brother, whichever. From holy shit, there's a word I used for it. I'm so dumb. I'm gonna cheat and look at my notes. Death aversion buffs. Yeah. So basically, he's a last hitter that can deal with death aversion buffs, namely evasion and guts. Evasion just basically reducing damage to 0, and guts, of course, just saying my health is HP, but fuck you, I'm still alive. So he can deal extra damage to bows. Well, technically he just ignores evasion, the 100 times multiplier of it, anyways, and can deal a bit more to guts. And also he has a decent remove buff feature that would then dispense of that evasion or guts, preferably guts, obviously, so that he can get that finishing kill. So I would say his role is a last hitter, but I would say it's secondary because the rest of his kit does not prime him to be like a lethal unit to actually kill people. He doesn't have any buffs to himself in terms of damage, so
He also has a really low attack stat, so that's something.
He's also valiant.
Valiant trash. Anyways, he's not my favorite unit, but he does have his uses. That he's a last hitter, but he's not gonna last hit units from like full HP. Rather, his purpose is to last hit units from low HP, which, interesting enough, I guess makes him slightly better for the opposite of leader slots. Some are later in the slotting, but that's how you would optimally use him, anyways.
Kind of goes against the remove buff thing, though.
Yeah, I don't think the remove buff activates when we're at 0 HP, which is kind of dumb. I don't know, it's silly. His entire kit is just... He has multiple functions, but they're not really complementary to each other, just simply because of the fact that he doesn't have the damage to unite them all. Okay, that was mostly my thoughts. You guys can add things now, right? Go on.
I thought Erbie was gonna go, because doesn't it like Erbie and then me and then Erbie and then me?
Oh,
I did Leanan, so.
I already forgot there. Whoever wants to go talk about them next.
Sure, I can talk about him next. No problem. I think I agree with both of you in those aspects where he's like, he's not impressive at all. I especially do not agree on that death aversion thing because, as we've said before, he's not gonna finish off anybody with that kit. That he has increased damage against guts, but
it's not that much.
is super low. And his attack stat is also low. He has absolutely no attack buffs to himself. It's just kind of pointless.
Losers threatening us at gunpoint with their lives.
I think his most impressive features are the ability to buff the units in front of him, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
I think that the most important part of his kit is to...
The most vanilla part of his kit. Yeah, just strengthen the units in front of him a bit. Yeah.
That's what I got from his kit. You can also apply some nasty debuffs, but
yeah, no defense buffs for himself.
Unreliable. So yeah, I think he's easily the worst unit on banner. So I'll do the thing I did last time. So his 3-star is completely at odds with. So he wants to be sitting in on the second row with a row of people in front of him, except now he can't reach anyone with slash, so his buff doesn't work, and his guts and evasion penetration, how useful those are, those don't work either because he can't reach them. And then he has bloody spiritual dog warrior, which is lore purposes and all, but
the best skill we forgot to mention now.
Completely doesn't work because he's supposed to be behind everyone, but it will never work because it only applies to his row, where people should never be if they want to benefit from Tanetomo. So
the price
that skill
takes
is
the
completely dead. Yeah, that skill is completely dead. So his 3-star's useless. Also, like not just because of his slash range, making his assassin skill useless, but he doesn't give tenacity to the row in front either, which is not helpful. And even his 4-star isn't really that great, like, you know, for the same reasons that you said. And his remove buff isn't even that high rate; it's only 50%. So
I don't know why they're so reluctant to us making remove buff like at such low percent. Like even skills like bind have high percent in general. It's literally in the skill you can see bind has high percent. It's always like that for some reason. Like, you know, bind is like maybe 70%, or even if you're like 80%. But then like it'd be lucky if remove buff was ever at 50%. Like now, this is actually really high for remove buff for some reason. I don't understand the LifeWonders reasoning for that.
I don't know why the heck Kenshi aren't allowed to be any good.
I don't think Yasuyori is that bad, to be honest.
I don't think he's that bad, but I also don't think he's that good.
I can agree with that statement.
Like 10% countdown or 20%. Like
He's easily the best Akenshi, at least, in my opinion.
That's not a very high bar to clear.
Well, Shino 5 might be better now with his, since he can actually do damage.
Is he even a Hakeji technically? Because he's like...
I wasn't counting Shino. So.
Okay, well then, yeah.
Yeah, just like, you dropped that point quickly.
Well, I mean, it's technically right.
Yeah, it is right. The contestants are what? Moritaka, Tanetomo, and Tanetomo.
Tanetomo's okay, I guess, for guts meme spamming, but it doesn't really do anything else besides that.
Yeah.
Moritaka is like...
Moritaka's Moritaka.
He...
Moritaka.
At least he's cute.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe he'll get a 4th, 3rd variant or something.
At least he went to the flea market.
Oh, that video was great.
Okay, looks like we're about to approach the end of this, but for now, let's read the comments that are trailing off. Zalgus, would you do the honors?
Scroll up, sure. I'm not too keen about Tanner. He's not very bad, but it feels a bit gimmicky. I don't know if I would say... Well, he kind of is gimmicky pretty much. A lot of his stuff is like lore related, or, you know, it's supposed to synergize with the Yasuyori, but it really doesn't work very well. He ignores evasion, pog. Yeah, that's not useful. Yes, buff spiritual dog warrior. Yeah, please. Off topic. If Housamo is actually getting an anime, how are they going to handle the protagonist thing? They change the protagonist every episode, or they change it every time the shot changes and don't mention it.
No, better solution. They just show the canon protagonist, MC5, obviously.
I honestly was just expecting. I honestly discussed this before, but I think what they will probably do is, depending on the person who is talking to the protagonist, different protagonists would appear depending on the soul that person will see.
That would be disorienting.
Yeah, that'd be more like some sort of psychological thriller anime. What does it mean? She says she's a female when he talks to Solomon Kun. What does this mean?
What does this mean?
That would be hilarious. He's largely a staller with a side of support. Yeah, lack of self-defense buffs hurt him, and yeah, special attack buffs are pretty much useless. Loves suicide.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, right. His law.
Oh, right. He's he like
himself.
and the sword to himself apparently too.
Yeah.
It's about like if you
draw the sword, then they'll die, but it's also a genuine threat to himself.
If you've ever seen that anime assassination classroom, there's like this kid who just like was able to trick people into like. He was an excellent assassin, and one of his tricks was actually to like sort of disarm himself, because when you do that, it's like apparently their attention will be focused on the act of yourself disarming yourself, and then that's a perfect assassination movement was your other hand. And I was just reminded by that when I saw that lore bit.
Never actually watched Assassination Classroom.
It was good, and also Kodo Sensei is really cute.
If the units can't be binded or charmed, he doesn't really do much. There aren't really that many. Well, it's mostly in the CQs where they'll be immune to that, and I don't think you should be using Tanetomo's CQs.
I also don't think you should be using him for bind or charm either. So.
Yeah.
You've got better options. Look at Kijimura. He does that to like everyone who hits him, as well as the adjacent units. That's ridiculous. So why would you use him when Kijimura exists?
and Kizumuna can also take a hit.
Yeah.
Because Weld Element and Tenacity to self. Does he bind enemies before he gets hit?
I forget.
I forgot too.
I think it's after.
Ah, well.
Yeah.
His CS isn't too good. Yeah, countdown and flat HP down. Who did a toss?
Even Christmas Kalki is a higher HP down. Which I don't know. I don't know what's up with that.
Not the worst unit, but his niche is very niche and limited use. Yeah, I wouldn't say he's the worst unit ever, but he's easily the worst unit on banner.
His most interesting feature is, or not interesting, his most useful feature is very boring and vanilla, which is just the vigor tenacity stuff.
Yeah, buffing to a row in front of him.
And his actual
talk kind of hurts him.
His taunt, no, yeah, and his other unique gimmicks and belts, like I said before, taunt and bind and charm, and which doesn't work in assassin. They're all secondary because the rest of his kit does not work to help it out at all. So yeah, if you're using him, make sure the main reason you're using him is because of that vigor tenacity support.
The trend is mediocre to bad 3-star and absolutely busted 4 and 5-star. Well, Leanan's exempt from that because her 3-star is actually probably one of the best 3-stars in the game. But yeah, everyone else's 3-star is pretty shit on this banner especially.
Way to be gentle, but well said.
Yeah.
Loser pouting in the corner.
Yasuri is the best DPS and Tanetomo is the best out of the Hekenshi. Well, yeah, I guess. Because the rest are shit. Since their 4-star utility is limited.
Moritaka is the best at looking pretty.
At least Valentina is pretty solid, hard hitter. But yeah, the Valentine's variants are fine. Well, Moritaka still kind of sucks because Gen 1.
I don't even remember his kit still. I think he has I remember his charge goes CP to self or something, but
it's like almost the same, except some of his buffs apply to himself instead of his allies, and he has Berserk Plus. Well, it used to be Berserk, now it's Berserk Plus. So he can actually do okay damage, but now he's taking a 5-star slot instead. So don't know if you want that. Different protagonists for different loops. Yes, that would make sense. Isn't that how it works in canon?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how they described it in chapter 9. Anyways.
Yeah.
And of course the winning loop being MC5.
Comparing a variant to a perk unit, you filthy animal. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Luther.
The variant privilege.
Variant privileges.
I mean, there are rare cases where they're worse, especially in Gen 1. But yeah.
Hey, it's fine. Tanetomo and Yasuri will get their variants, and then they'll be fine.
And their variants will be just as good as Moritaka's variant. Look forward to that.
God, hope they don't do that.
One day Moritaka will get a good skill evolution.
Just give him a 3rd variant. There's no saving it.
Yeah. Alright, I think we reached a good stopping point.
Do you want to talk about Vanilla Assassin?
Vanilla Assassin?
Tanetomo actually had... I mean, not that...
If Tanetomo had that, let me tell you, barely anything would change because it's such a minimal feature. Let's be honest, barely anything would change.
The only important thing is remove buff, which is cool and all, but shot range is kind of based on the way he wants to position.
Thrust range only.
It's thrust range, yes.
Oh wait. Oh yeah. Oh great. Oh yeah. It'll be effectively thrust range because he has to stand behind everyone. So yeah, it wouldn't really change that much.
Yeah. So I was just like, ignore all the skills. Just look at his second one. That's the only really important one, basically.
Yeah, this is pretty much his best skill.
Which is kind of mediocre in itself too.
It's very vanilla.
Alright, one last comment, or a couple last comments. I'll just read them out before I close this analysis. Variant units, Tons and Tons says, variant units will be better most of the time, but Prems is still a valid argument. Yeah, I use Prems all the time, Leaked, because honestly, Leaked, I prefer Leaked's base, because he just, equips can actually equip Shiro 5. Yeah, and also, he just gives slightly more CP than his Valentine variant. And
rest in peace, Takemaru.
Oh yeah, that was a very strange case where the variant in this generation was
honestly.
I mean,
his 3-star has a better, as you know, he's decent in his niche of being a 3-star.
that just deletes everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And his 5 stars regular ain't nothing so that day, but his Christmas one is like.
It's kind of a hodgepodge of skills that don't really. It's kind of unfocused.
Herb Beast grasped for looking forward to that and like putting all his heart and soul into wailing for a unit he didn't even like in terms of his kit.
Is that why he doesn't post as much anymore?
I don't think that's the reason, but like that kind of discourages like Takamaru. He has like personal stuff going on in his life, not bad personal stuff, but like work stuff. Okay, Archie Archive says the feeling when disappointing first variant, just so their second variant is guaranteed to be better.
Wow, that is super to even get. I mean, I think Mori will get one because one of the faces of the game.
I don't know Leak to come on. Leak does it one. Anyway,
he's a guild leader.
God, that'd be so amazing. Lucer says I'll call him pretty at least once, or I already did call him pretty. Tanetomo is pretty. There you go. Not my type, but he's pretty. All right. I think this is a good closing point. Any final remarks, you guys, about anything overall on the stream?
If Tanetomo were really wise, he wouldn't apply taunt to himself. I just read that name.
Erbie, any thoughts from you?
Not much at all. The only thoughts I have is that I can't wait for part 2, and I wish I had Linear.
Oh god, it took me like fucking 2 hours to prepare my analysis because I procrastinated the shit out of it. I'm actually debating if I should do a proper analysis video like now versus wait out for both parts to be released.
God, we're gonna get skill evos soon.
Oh my god, it's gonna make the... Yeah.
We already found something very cool in the wiki today about skill levels.
Oh, wait, did I miss it?
Is this about the IDs?
Yes.
Have we seen what skills have different IDs?
Yes.
Wait, we did? What are they? Tell me.
There's the Judgment Dealer for Zabania 5-star. It's gonna get an evo, almost certainly.
Oh my god. I don't even have an evo.
There's Mountain Dweller for Oniwaka 5-star.
How many fucking skill EOs can fit in that guy?
So is it Ophion next?
No, it's something nobody is expecting. It's Christmas Taurus Mask.
What?
What?
Yes.
You hear that, Archie?
What? He's not.
I mean, he's kind of a mediocre unit, so that's.
But it's Christmas, and I thought it was just gonna be buffing units that were, related to the date quests. What?
These aren't confirmed. These are just the IDs that of the skills that were changed specifically for those units.
Squinting.
But it's almost confirmed. It's almost the same. It's almost guaranteed that these skills at least will get a skill.
I swear to God, if Leak doesn't get a fucking Evo, I'm gonna be assaulting motherfucker. What the fuck? Yeah, source one. I don't know. Okay, I'm losing my mind.
I didn't give another one to Ophion, since you thought I thought it was gonna be the guys that MC kissed.
I mean, he got an Evo, and Claude got an Evo. And that was decent. Like, he's already pretty strong. I mean, he's not...
I mean, they can always give more.
Yeah, they can. Just give Leaked one. Just one. Please. I swear to God. Okay. I am gonna put a close to this discussion now because you rascals always make this conversation more longer than I should. And also, I'm gonna be streaming Dungeons right after this, as usual.
Why?
Because it's a thing, It's a sign of commitment and... What? Shut up. I like doing them, okay? But,
okay.
Alright.
At least now you have a fully skill seated that this time.
Oh, PogChamp! Erbie's dad is fully seated. Can't wait to try it out later. Alright.
No, it's not fully seated, just skill seated.
Oh. Well. I'm just one.
I mean, skill seed's the important part anyway.
I mean, level seed's important too, so I don't have to scroll down for Erbie's dad. Right?
Cthugha needs a skill evo. Yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
He's too lazy to get one. Anyways, that is the end of this discussion. You can find Erbie at his channel, which is Erbie.
No, I'm not gonna say it.
Okay, it will be in the description of this, the playback of this video. It's his username there, or at least in the URL, is douchebags. uh, but his actual username is Nametaker. He makes great content, although he had some issues with recording lately, so he hasn't been posting lately. But I'm sure he'll figure out a solution or something like that. I don't know.
There's not a lot of content to put up on the channel right now after all these challenge quests.
It's a bit of a slow period. They'll probably just throw banners at us until they decide to release the next event or chapter.
Okay.
Yeah, the next event should be coming in like 2 weeks or something.
I'm actually gonna need to take a break because I need to prepare some I have pre-work to do for a schooling thing I applied to, and I'm not done that with you, right? Because I'm a dumbass. But anyways, you can. So we also have signing out Zalgus, who is also known as Solid Milk, and I would refer you to his channel, but he's kind of a weeding and just does not publicize his videos. However, I strongly recommend you do join the Discord server. That I'm pretty sure the link is working this time for the hundreds millionth time I checked in my description. Go there. He occasionally shares videos of 3-star challenge clears, so it's a very excellent resource of how you can beat it, even if you don't feel confident with your roster. Any remarks on that, Zalgus?
They're mostly fun to do. I would like to do them more, but just the CQs recently the CQs this year haven't been very interesting. And
they won't be interesting anymore, especially now that Leanan exists for you.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna...
It depends on how good that power reversal thing is going to be used.
Yeah.
I hope that fixes hyper buffers at least.
That will completely invert the meta at that point. If that buff is what I think it is, that it's a lot of strategies are going to change. By the way, you guys are extending it, but let me just briefly say there was a debuff that was data mined called power, or translated into power reversal, which basically I believe it reduces your damage or something every single time you're buffed.
Damage and defense.
Damage and defense. So it's a interesting way to counteract buff stacking. We'll see how it turns out though, and who ends up getting it. All right. And I am Ayrton, and you can find me in the channel or something. Please leak, comment, and subscribe, as the meme goes. You can always comment in the streams. I always read all the comments, and if you're a bot, I will remove your comment. If it's something like, let's be friends, you're gone. But if you say something nice or something insightful or literally nothing at all, that's not bot-like, then I'll probably give you a thumbs up or something.
And it doesn't accept friends.
By the way, does the stream chat automatically censor things?
It censors some things automatically, yes. And then what you're seeing is, and then what you're seeing here on the actual screen is an even more filtered version, because there's something called live chat and there's something called top chat. And I believe live chat is just all of them. Top chat somehow algorithmically selects the best ones or something. So for my I don't know.
It censored some of my comments yesterday or during your band stream because I said fuck.
The censoring in YouTube is kind of done. I'm if I was a Twitch streamer, if I was an e-boy, that wouldn't be an issue. But you gotta deal what you gotta deal with here. All right.
Low quality Twitch streams.
Who knows? Maybe one day when I expand my audience and start making that internet monies. I need money. But for now, it's all three of us are signing out. Thank you for joining us. Stick around for the dungeons, and let's see. Oh wait, Erbie, why are you talking? It might pull a bit. See if I can get secret.
I was just replying to Edgar.
Oh, okay. Shit's fuck up. I'm saying goodbye. All right, goodbye everyone. We'll see you around next time. Definitely next week. Because we're gonna be doing another analysis, presumably if part 2 comes out. But I'll just have to check with the schedules. You guys will probably be free, but I can't assume that by then.
Yeah, I'll probably be free.
Yeah.
And it'll be flexible, so it might not be fun.
I'll have more interesting things to say on the next part, at least.
What about Zab?
Because,
the Skull Illusions, yeah!
Also because of that, and also because I'm slightly more interested in the units that are coming up part 2.
Yeah, there's been some spoiled units, or at least hinted at units. I don't even recognize them, even when I saw their names, so it doesn't matter to me. But yeah, look forward to Erbie creaming himself on stream next weekend. Alright, see you guys. Love you. Peace out.
Okay, bye.
And stick around for dungeons if you care about me. Bye.